Plaintiff Andy Cornell had a one-night stand with the defendant, and a month later she discovered she was pregnant. Andy insists the defendant is her child's father, but he has his doubts, so she petitioned the court for a DNA test and is suing for daycare expenses. Defendant Curtis Dawson says a month after he met Andy, he drunk texted her to meet up for sex, and she told him she was on birth control. Curtis claims he has no idea when Andy got pregnant, and that's why he questions whether or not he is her child's father.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, Your Honor, I met the defendant approximately February 2012. We had met at a club. He had approached me and, we talked a little bit, and he had invited me later on to meet up with him. I did not. I told him I would, but I did not.
But you came up pregnant anyway.
Yes. About a week later.
How does that happen?
Not that night. A little later.
Oh, later you did.
Yeah, about a week later.
So tell me what happened later.
Yeah, so I did not meet up with him that night. I kind of ditched him a little bit. So I met up with him about a week later. Our daughter was conceived about a week later, middle of February 2012. And then about 2 months later, I tried to join the Navy. And at MEPS for the Navy, I found out that I was pregnant. 2 months pregnant, had no idea. At that time, I had contacted him and let him know about the pregnancy. Did not go over that well at that time. He did not want the child. We were not ready. It was kind of a casual thing. And then
what was his response?
His response, he initially wanted an abortion.
When you said no, obviously?
Yeah,
and
so
then what was the...
I explored those options with the life choices. That was not at all something that I wanted to do at that time.
Right, it's your body, you're the woman, right.
Right, yeah, so I chose to keep the child. I told him at that time that I would keep the child and, not ever ask him for anything at that time.
Did he try and deny paternity or not?
Well, I knew, but we never did it. Yes.
He didn't know.
No, he didn't know for sure. No. Yeah, at that time, he wasn't really sure, and then was like, if it's mine, I don't want to be responsible.
I don't want to be?
Yes.
That's what he said?
Yes.
Did he say why?
Because it was a very casual encounter. Okay. And when we had hooked up, we both had agreed that we were both.
So it was casual for you too. It was casual for both of y'all.
You're right.
He take care of him casually. You take care of the child casually.
Right. However, the child was very well taken care of on my part.
Good.
And then I chose to raise the child on my own, and then things came up like child care expenses and. Of course, she was a daddy's little girl, and
there wasn't a DNA test taken, obviously.
No, sir.
Let me hear from you, sir.
Well, some of that story is true. We did meet at a club. We didn't hook up that night. We didn't hook up a week later. We hooked up like a month later. My uncle had got out of jail, so we was drinking Hennessy. Sitting at the house. He was a chef cooking up. I'm on my phone going through text messages. Obviously, if I wanted to sleep with somebody, I could have slept with somebody in my own state. I lived in Oklahoma. She lived in Missouri. So I was just drunk texting, like brothers do sometimes, Well, she lived in Missouri, so I'm just like, hey, what's up? Come down and get some. Just to...
That's very romantic.
Yeah. I was just throwing it out there, though. I didn't think
and the law averages, you're right. Law averages will also get you in trouble.
But this is what happened.
Have unprotected sex with too many women, somebody's going to either give you a disease or a child. That's the law of averages. Go ahead.
But I texted her. She said she was coming down. She didn't get off till like 1:30 in the morning. which she would have to drive 2 to 2.5 hours to get to me.
Is that true? You drove 2 hours to get to him?
I did.
And you all had never been together?
No.
Nah.
So you did not know whether it was going to be reward or punishment?
No.
Go
I
ahead.
took the risk.
So, obviously, we had been drinking since 4 p.m. It was after 1 a.m.
She shows up, then what?
We have drinks. I did put a condom on, but I passed out. And it fell off. So after that, I asked her, hey, do you want to get one of those Plan B pills? I had never had a scare. I always wear protection. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, no, she's on the shot. So then she comes telling me she's pregnant. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if she was pregnant before she met me, anything. So it's always down in my mind.
Ma'am, did you tell him you were on a shot of
On the
some
shot.
sort?
You know
See,
the
I'm
shot.
not sure
Birth
now.
control.
And so, did you tell him you had gotten
Yeah.
a shot, birth control shot?
Yes.
Had you?
Yes.
It failed you?
Like, he had pretty good swimmers, I guess.
Okay. Anything else? When she first notified you, how did you react?
I was angry. You know what I'm saying? I had it planned out. I never had a scare. You know, I always was protected. You know, I wanted to be there, like with a woman, a wife, you know, have it all planned out.
Yep.
And I just thought I was set up, you know? If you ain't had your cycle as a female, you know something's wrong with
I was
your body.
gonna go there, but I don't know enough about the female body, and you don't either. So
I
leave
read
it
up
alone.
after it.
You read it.
After
Okay.
yes.
My doctor tells me to stay off the internet
Dang.
about
I did
medical,
too. I started
about
going
medical
dizzy
issues.
reading all that stuff. I was just, whatever happens, happens, man.
Ma'am, you told him that, and then that's what happened. And I mean, I can't really come down on him. He wore a condom, and you had told him you had taken the shot. So he did everything that I think a mature man would do.
Thank you.
So whatever may have occurred, perhaps it was God's will. If he's the father. And I can marry you all today if that's the case.
Nah.
You say you wanted a
No.
stable household. Didn't you hear that?
I heard that.
He said, I want it all planned, Your Honor. I want to do it right.
Yeah.
Things don't go as planned.
No, it's not too late. We can put it together.
No, sir. I'm all right.
Now, let me hear about the child care expenses you're suing him for.
Starting in December 2017, I moved to Kansas City, Missouri area. Child care expenses were much more than what it was before. I paid about $3,300 from December to June. I had asked him in December to start supporting and helping out with daycare expenses.
You're going to take care of your child once we prove it's his, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, and you're saying the daycare expenses are $1,650?
Yes,
If it's
sir.
not his child, which we'll know very shortly, you know that he is not liable for that, right?
Correct.
But he has said he will pay and he feels liable if it is his child. So that's the good news. Let's go and see the paternity test. You have any other children?
No, sir.
You got a main woman now or a committed relationship?
No, sir. I'm single. Yeah.
All right, we'll get you a woman with one child because then she'll have a child and you'll have a child.
How you know?
Because you're the father. Curtis Dawson is the father. That's how I know.
I told you, man.
And he has agreed to pay. Have a good
Told
day.
you. She looks
Congratulations to
exactly
you
like
both.
you, man. She looks exactly like you. I told you. I'm glad that we found out for sure that he is the father of Miss Ava Blue.
I would say you did a great job of raising her by yourself. Now it's time for me to help you.